Steelers Nation, welcome back to another episode of the Texas Steel Podcast. I'm Pierce Trexler, joined always by my boy, Drake Greenstein, here to give a little preview for this upcoming game that we got against the Cowgirls up in Pittsburgh. Super juiced and excited to get out to this one. Me, Drake, my brother Gage, Daniel, Kyle, some of our boys and friends, we're all going to be attending this game, man. Energy should be through the roof. You know this rivalry is one that goes back. It dates back 50-plus years, man. Obviously, we have their number in the overall Super Bowl appearances. I think they got a little more salt to us than we do to them. But, man, how you feel going into Week 5?
Man, 3-1, feeling good. That loss, I'm not
Flush
gonna lie,
it.
it still stings.
Move
But hey,
On
what
to
better
next
way?
week.
What better way to rebound our first primetime game, baby,
Let's go.
under the lights? And I mean, we get to be there, bro. It's gonna be electric.
Towels will be flying.
I can't
Vocal
wait.
cords will be shredded.
Renegade.
Whenever we
man.
have our recap coming after the game for just summarizing everything, we might not be able to talk that well, so you're going to have to bear with us on that end. I'm going to be losing my vocal cords, doing all that I can to help ensure that we can secure this W. But before we fully dive into that, kind of just want to get into a few little remarks. I know we touched upon it earlier, and it's very tough to go back and reflect on such a deflating loss, and I know that it was just tough across Steelers Nation. Everyone kind of seemed to be on the same page. But again, we're not going to go undefeated. A loss had to come somewhere.
Yeah.
I look at it as it's better to lose early, not early as in 0-3 like the Bengals just did, but get that one out of the system early. Obviously, could quote it as a Tomlin loss, whatever you want to. But again, it's very, very tough to go undefeated and win the Super Bowl. No team's ever done it. So
Growing pains.
just get through it, flush it, and move on to the next one. Again, I still think Justin had a hell of a game. Don't think he did anything to jeopardize his QB1 spot. If anything, I think he elevated to concrete himself as QB1.
Yeah.
So moving forward, hopefully we can continue to get healthy. We have a few people coming back from injury. Isaac Seumalo should make a presence. Roman Wilson, again, has been practicing each and every day this week, as he did last week. We were thinking his return would be ready for last week, but we're just praying, fingers crossed, that it could be this week. But with one wide receiver floating and being questionable with activation, we look at around the league. There's some buzz generating, and D, take it from here, man.
The biggest bomb of today. Today, bro. We went from Ayuk. Now Davante Adams has officially requested a trade from Las Vegas. They have been fielding calls as early as this morning.
And there's two teams that are interested. You know who those two teams are.
Man, you know the Lur's going to be in there.
We in
You
the
know
mix,
Lur's gonna be
as
in
are
there.
the Lions are. But again, I mean, I think that we would
This
like
would
to have
be
a little bit
huge,
more
bro.
leverage. And from what Pierce, the Raiders coach, had said, he's played his last snap as a Raider. So with the coach already coming out and saying that, man, you already know that he's probably going to be looking out. He might not get out this week. He might be sitting on the Raiders bench for another week or two up until the trade deadline.
You should
and
have
the
seen
cuts
his
come.
interview, Pierce. He got interviewed by Kay Adams from Good Morning Football, and she's like, "Have you played your last snap as a Raider?" He's like, "I'm just focused on the next thing." I'm like,
The next thing is becoming a Pittsburgh Steeler, my
and
guy.
Cordell Patterson, you see?
Yes,
it?
yes.
Cordell Patterson says,
Bro wants
"Sounds
to
like
be a
this man
Steeler."
wants to be a
Yeah.
Steeler." So
Absolutely love it.
hey, this would be huge, man. Truly,
And they're only looking for a second round. You
I
mean to tell me
know.
Davante
I
ain't
know.
worth- And they're like, we'll field offers, but
I'll
we
throw in
want
a
a
fifth
second.
round.
Bro, give me
I'll throw in a
second.
fifth round for
Give
good
him-
measure.
Give him one of our give him Van Jefferson. Like, I mean, at this point, just if we could get that piece in here, man, I think that just completely. Oh, I mean, I'm going to be talking even more crazy than I have been already, brother.
I mean, I'm 10 toes down, man. If we add anything of like somewhat of a wide receiver too that is reliable, this team is truly a true contender. At the moment, I think we're a good team that is missing the piece, and I genuinely think that's a piece that takes this team, and specifically the offense, bro. Bro, imagine GP and Davante hand in hand.
And another thing that it would do is, again, unfortunate set of circumstances. Jalen Warren going down early in the season, Cordero Patterson getting hurt, Najee not being able to have the strides that we were hoping for in last game.
Yep.
Obviously, with the running back room being kind of limited and injured as is, we're going to need to open the playbook up. We can't just ground and pound, go down 14 and expect to have these comebacks every week in, week out. So I think just adding another weapon in the receiver room, holy cow. As Drake mentioned last episode, let's take the step of not having to prioritize ourselves as a run-first team. Let's go out there and sling the rock on first and second down, because in the third, fourth quarter of the Colts game, Justin proved that he can come through and make these plays in the high pedigree moments. So that's just a little news that's been circulating around the NFL. Davante Adams looking to get out of there. Unfortunately, I know we're kind of having our line in the water, hoping D-Hop with the Titans might be able to make something, but he had a hell of a game last night, Monday Night Football. They secure their first dub of the season.
Shout out Mason Rudolph.
Oh, Mason Rudolph. And again, it's all love, man. Once a Steeler, always a Steeler. We got nothing but love and respect from Mason. Obviously, the way he handled the last end of those 3 games last season, keeping us relevant, getting us to the playoffs, man. Nothing but love and respect. It is great to see him go and perform on another team, and I think he's the starter come the end of the season in Tennessee. He deserves it at least. He
won
deserves
his last
it at
4
least.
games.
He deserves it at least, man. But very, very interesting news. Hopefully within the trade deadline rumor, no one else can sneak in there and pull one up us and get Davante instead. But obviously, we know Omar's behind the scenes cooking. Come season time, Tomlin, Arthur Smith, those are the guys that are focused on ball, but there are so many other things behind the scenes that Arthur Smith is still continuing to cook that we just do not see. So fingers crossed Davante could come. But with all that being said, let's move on to the next most important battle and matchup we got here. Dallas Cowboys coming to town. Sunday Night Football, baby. Let's get electric. Man. It's going to be a hell of a game. Drake, what are you expecting?
Man, what I am expecting is Carrie Underwood to just kick off the night, man. And I'm expecting, just fireworks. Fireworks, bro. Because, look, one thing, you see the memes. And
America's watching.
America is going to be watching. But here's what I want to say. Do not let Dak's playoff inadequacies shadow the fact that the dude is a baller in the regular season.
He's MVP candidate last year.
Yeah, he was, and he puts out crazy stats. And honestly, the way Joe Flacco was tearing up our offense, bro, against our
Swiss cheese back
bro.
there, bro.
Honestly, I'm a little nervous because you know what's crazy? I don't think I'd ever come to this point in making this statement, but just based off of injuries and what our defense looked like against an actual pocket passer, and we're facing a pocket passer in Dak. Bro, I'm a little nervous on our corners. I think we're facing probably the 3rd best receiver in the league, maybe 2nd best.
I think this is going to be the toughest matchup wide receiver Joey Porter Jr. is faced with.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And I'm willing to send a double at CD because I'm not going to let him win this game single-handedly. But, yeah, I think we're going to face a top-tier quarterback. Not elite, but very good. But, yeah, I hope Steeler fans don't let Dak's playoff losses against the Niners or the Packers take away from the fact that the dude can put up massive numbers and he can do it in a split second.
Most definitely.
Yeah, but yeah, this is going to be a tough one, bro. But what I was saying was I couldn't believe I'm saying this, but I genuinely think a lot of this, as far as keys to winning the game, dude, I think a lot of it has to do with slowing down their offense, and a lot of it's going to rest on our defense. Because, dude, I got pretty good confidence on our offense. Daniel Jones, Lamar Jackson. I can't quite remember who else played the Cowboys. The Cowboys have been letting up points, and I think we got a top 15 offense.
I agree.
But dude, our defense against Joe Flacco, sheesh, bro.
Embarrassment. And that's why I said again, I'm trying to just flush last week and move on because we saw the expectations coming in with this defense. We were making even comparisons of some of those early 2000s defenses that went on those Super Bowl runs and just put a soap in my tongue and wash my mouth out. I am sorry that all of the greats of that era, we even put them in the same stratosphere because after last week's performance, it was just abysmal. But moving forward, I think that our defense is going to play with their hair on fire. They have a chip on their shoulder. You know, TJ's been here in the media. Where was TJ Watt last game? Granted, he was quiet. He was getting held left, right, and center. Excuses need to stop. TJ needs to come out playing. Joey Porter Jr. got exposed last game. We need a bounce back from him. And I think we do get it because if one thing that we've seen, we have a resilient bunch. Mike Tomlin with his back against the wall always tends to answer. And again, there's not many must-win games this early in the season. But with Baltimore starting to heat up and the AFC picture starting to kind of shift the way that it is, this game is a must grab in my opinion, because we know what that back half, everyone said the gauntlet. These are the games. With us fumbling this one to Indy, we should be 4-1 right now, affording to maybe lose this one. We cannot afford to lose this one. So if we can get in there, leave 4-1, and we look at their defensive side of the ball, Cowboys speaking, Micah Parsons out. He's not going to be playing, which is going to be a huge relief for us, especially knowing the injuries we have on the offensive line. We got 3 of our 5 starters out and some young cats just moving around, interchanging pieces. So not having a top 3 to 5 edge rusher going against your squad is always going to be a good thing. They had another injury on the back end of the defense. I'm blanking on what his name.
Dexter Lawrence something Lawrence. Lawrence is out.
Another stud. Yeah. So to have both of them out, obviously, let's just capitalize on that. Maybe try to get the running game going. Still waiting to hear back for injury's sake of Cordero Patterson and Jalen Warren. It looks like they're still limited in practice.
Yeah, I haven't heard any news about Cordell. I don't think he didn't look too bad. I think he'll probably be back with limited snaps. Najee took a couple bumps and bruises, but I think our running backs, other than Jalen, should be a good to go. Should be good.
Yeah, we would hope so. And again, our O-line with 2 of their marquee guys out, we got to be able to feed in the trenches, give Justin some time back there, because again, I think with what we saw last week, Justin's going to start getting the keys to kind of open this playbook up and start throwing on first and second down and hopefully win us some games with his arm, or at least have the ability and chance to. So I think we're going to hopefully open it up. Do you see this one being a type of a shootout? Do you see it a lower scoring, just hard-nosed
It's Sunday Night Football, man. I think we're going to see some points.
I agree.
I was thinking about this game on the car ride here.
I'd bet the over if I was a bet.
Yeah, I'd bet the over. I mean, just based off of what you've seen against good offenses, the Steelers have given up some points. I mean, before Herbert got injured, he was starting to catch his groove. Joe Flacco was catching his groove. Those are against pocket passers. So now you're getting a guy that puts up really good freaking numbers. But with our offense, the way we're trending, I like us to put up points as well. So yeah, I really think if I'm looking at this game, I think there's going to be 1 or 2 critical defensive plays that happen, probably by TJ Watt. Hopefully, fingers crossed. But we need to make those plays happen. But they are far more likely to happen in your own crib. And I like our odds at Acrisure. But yeah, I mean, this is just I see people on Twitter saying, just because Dak and the Cowboys postseason success, that does not define them as a regular season team.
Literally, he was a MVP candidate up until like the last 2 or 3 weeks of the season. So,
but we got GP versus Trevon Diggs. I'm excited for that matchup. That'll tell us a lot. I was nervous about Patrick Surtain, but Surtain couldn't really hold his water. The only way he was stopping him was through grabbing his jersey and committing pass interference.
But at that point, I'll march down the field off of a yellow flag and make a play that way.
Yeah, so I like our offense, but yeah, to answer your question, I think this can be a little bit of a shootout. I think the Steelers cross 27, maybe even 30 points in this game, but we'll see.
That's where I was kind of leaning as well. I think if they start again, I just do not want to have first play of the game, 60-yard bomb off a fluke play where just blown coverage and missed the read. And I don't want to give any reason for the air to be sucked out of the stadium early and have them think that they have a chance. I want us to either start fast if we have the ball or pin them to early 3 and out and just keep the crowd rocking throughout it. Because, again, Drake made a good point. Last game in Indy, if we could have just silenced and gotten through the first quarter of all the craziness and the fans, the game's going to mellow out eventually. You can start calling things at your own pace. So I hope that just Acrisure stays rocking. We can continue to keep them on maybe a silent count, get a few false starts or something of the sort. Just use the home field to our best advantage possible. But I do like us in this game, man. I know Cowboys are a tough team. They're having a lot of slack in Flander, probably even more than we have as Steelers fans. So I know that they're feeling like their back's pinned in the wall. They obviously had a good win against the Giants last Thursday night, so they're coming off a long rest week.
Yeah.
I don't know if those extra 2 to 3 days are going to help or hurt them. We'll just have to see when the ball snaps on Sunday night. But overall, I do like us in this performance. I think we should definitely be able to get out of the stadium, but it's not going to be a walk in the park by any stretch.
No, not at all. This will be definitely a tough game.
Toughest
But
of the season.
I mean, from all the Cowboys fans, and I have close friends that are Cowboys fans, man, they've been underachieving heavy. And that's why, I mean, they barely scraped by a Giants team that has a lot of issues of its own.
Oh, yeah.
So just wait till that boy Justin Fields escapes the pocket. Zoom. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I just like that we have a dual threat. And just one more thing on Justin, man. The red zone presence, it is just, it's like having a 12th dude out there, man.
Yep.
He is just flying all around. I mean, when we're within the 10, man, I like throwing him out, moving in motion. If you don't see your first or second read, just take off. And if you don't get to the end zone, you'll pick up at least 3 to 5. So we just got to be able to capitalize when we hit those red zone opportunities. I do think it's going to be a high-scoring game. You want to get into some score predictions? I haven't really fully thought through. I'm kind of going on the fly, coming up with mine. But again, I think we're on the same kind of pages of this will be a points showdown for sure.
I say, dude, going through on our record prediction episode, I said we'd lose this game, but based off of what I've seen so far this season, our offense is trending up, and the Cowboys have low-key been underachieving so far. I'm going to say 27-24. I think you see what that would make a 51 over under. I think that's pretty fair. I think 27-24. But I think we cross that mid 20 threshold, even above as far as points go.
Yeah, I like that. I definitely think we're gonna have to, obviously, like I mentioned, throw up some points to win this ball game. I would like to see the Steelers coming out on top of this one, 29-24, let's say. Defense is on the ground for the final minutes. Dak will have a chance to maybe go down and get it, and either the clock is going to be their biggest issue or TJ Watt is. But I definitely see it not being a victory formation type of game. I think this one comes down to the final seconds and the ticks of the clock. But I got us winning this one 29-24. Definitely think it'll be a hard-hitting one, but we're inching closer. And again, if you look at Super Bowl teams of the past, really that 25, 27 points average per game is where you got to flow in that sweet spot to actually contend and make that leap. And obviously, each week we've slowly progressed as an offense and are starting to get there. People are going to go out and say those were garbage time points last week, but if Justin Fields doesn't have the botch, if whoever fault it is Justin Fields, one more thing on him, taking leadership and accountability for a botch snap that was clearly not his fault. That's leadership, bro.
Yeah.
And I just love that. And you could see him on the sideline going to all the O linemen, just trying to rally the troops, keep the spirits high. But again, I think we need to walk out with this one. We can't. We cannot afford to go to 3-2, tying it even record with the Ravens. Or I guess we'll have to see how they form. I don't even know who they're playing with their matchups, but just continue to keep the foot on the gas. Flush last week, get rid of it, and I think a lot of these players are under the same mindset because I think all of them knew they should have won that game. They might have taken things a little too lax in practice that week, and I don't see us doing the same this week.
Yeah, I think last game left a bad taste in their mouth, especially like, granted, I'll give like credit to where it's due. I think the Colts came out with a good game plan, but I think come second half, we were clearly the better team. And I think Deshaun Elliott said it in post practice. They need to focus on the small details. Oh yeah, because at the end of the day, that's part of what made up all of the miscues that came up in the first half. The George Pickens fumble, the Najee not going out of bounds, the botch snaps. Those are all
the lack of a timeout.
Yeah, it's just self-inflicted wounds. And granted, did the Colts have a couple good drives? Yeah, did they? But at the end of the day, you could see in the second half we were clearly the better team. But you just can't have those miscues early. And I'm hoping to see a far more disciplined team and a team that comes out swinging, not operating their offense just like we need to pass more, but not feeling the obligation. We just need to run out of obligation.
We're not trying to play to not lose. I want to play to win in this game. And I feel like a lot of the times, if you look in our first 3 weeks, we would take the lead early. I think we were seeing the stats that popped up on the screen as of last game. It said Steelers minutes trailing in games. First 3 games, we'd only trailed a total of 13 minutes through all 3 games, and then it was basically all of the entirety of the Colts game. So I think we were used to the formula of, get up a little bit early and then just sit on the lead and hope your defense can do it. Cowboys are not a team that you can do that for. They have a high pedigree, high scoring offense. We're going to need to answer, if not put them away earlier than they're doing to us, if we want to really hold in and stand a chance here. But I think off what we've seen, man, this offense is capable. And I haven't been able to say that confidently for the Steelers in at least 4 to 5 years.
Yeah.
So.
One last thing before we wrap up. In the last, in all the playoff games since 2016, Tomlin's point differential within the first quarter is like 60-0. We are dropping ducks in the first quarter. I want us to see. I just want a game in which we come out with a good looking drive. Put a couple tutties up in the first half without having to just settle for field goals and 3 and outs to shake off the cobwebs early on.
It's week 5, bro. The cobwebs should have been dusted off a while back. So I'm excited for this one. Obviously, we're juiced up to be able to attend this game. Attended the first one, week 1 in Atlanta. Got that 1-0 feeling. Let's go for 2-0 this time around. We will be touching base. And actually, his wife's grandma's pad, she's got a pretty gnarly Steelers setup. So
Grandma Ballard, if you're watching, we're about to take it over.
Hey, we taking it over.
The studio going to be rocking.
Let's go. So for that one, we'll be able to tune in directly after the game. Again, bear our voices may be gone, but hopefully it's only for us getting the dub, and let's have some juice coming into that episode. But until that one comes, let's continue to pray and hope that this team can stay healthy, get to where we need to be, and beat the piss out them Cowgirls. But until next time, Steelers Nation, here we go, Steelers. Here we go.